Hi everybody, my name is Tina and this is my first Let's Build. I am actually doing a build of my own personal home in this video. It was a way for me to kind of get familiar with some of the tools in the new Sims 4 building, and it was a way for me to create a house that I will be using in an upcoming challenge. So I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of, what the building that I'm doing and whatnot. I probably won't be speaking through this entire video, or maybe I will, I'm not sure. But yeah, I did my own personal home because it was something that I knew and something that I have attempted to do in other versions of Sims and have never been able to get exactly right. And even in Sims 4, it isn't exactly right, but it is probably the closest it has ever been to any previous version of Sims. Because, like I said, I have tried to produce this house in previous versions of Sims as well, and this was the easiest to do, although it's still not perfect. I have made a few changes to my actual house. I have added things that are not really there, like that room that I just added. I kind of wish I had a Four Seasons room. I don't have one. But one day, if we ever expand this house, I will have a Four Seasons room, and it will look something very similar to this room that I have here that I've just built. We do have a fairly large deck. It is actually two levels. I'm not really familiar with how to do multi-leveled homes and whatnot, other than, stories. So I didn't try to accomplish that here. That one area at the top on the second floor is our bedroom, actually. I did have quite a bit of difficulty with the roofing. It took me a while to get the roofing right, and in the end, I found something that worked and was pretty accurate. That is another thing that has been always been so difficult in previous versions of Sims, to get the roof exactly right. And because I was so new to doing the building in Sims 4, it did take me quite a while. But I was glad that I took the time to do that because I did learn a lot about how to place roofs and how to manipulate them to do what I need them to do. And you'll see I did have to adjust the room there. I think I adjust it back down again in a few moments because what I've done is still not working. But like I said, in the end, I was able to finally get the correct roof. And the roofs in Sims 4 are so much easier to use than in any previous version. Just like the the rooms, I mean, being able to pick up and move a room and whatnot, oh, it's mind-blowing, actually. This room that I'm building here in the second story is actually not really a room in my true house. It's actually a closet, but I am going to put in a bathroom up there because I do wish I had a bathroom upstairs, and just like the sunroom, I will eventually have a bathroom upstairs, hopefully, someday. So I'm just trying to adjust that room to be more accurate. And I do make some additional adjustments when I'm in doing the actual furnishing of the house, because as I start moving furniture in and whatnot, I find that some of the rooms were a little bit too big. Some of the rooms are still not exactly shaped right, but they're better than anything else that I could do. Um, and again, I love the stairs, how you can put down one stair and then expand them. And I also love that the Sims can go up if you just have a single flight of stairs or single, I guess, panel. The Sims can still pass each other on the stairs without a problem, which is awesome. And our house is that color with the green trim. I love that I was able to do that. Uh, that was quite fun to actually make sure that all of our trim was the same color. I just put a couple of plants in the yard, nothing major. We do have some very simple landscaping in front of our house. So I did just put a couple of plants just to add a little bit of detail. Usually when I build, I don't think about the landscaping, but usually when I'm building when I'm actually in game and I have limited funds. So usually I start with a very small house and then expand it as the Sims have additional funds. But I have really enjoyed building this house without the concern of a particular price. And I do end up moving this wall as I'm doing the interior. I move that wall, that side wall back a little bit because it's a little bit too much space. I want it to be fairly close to accurate. And in a moment here, I'm going to put a large tree in the backyard. I think I do I do the deck rails first here, and then I will put a large tree in the backyard, which I love. We have a large tree in our backyard, and I do size it up, you'll see, which is awesome. I love that ability to be able to size up objects, and I do put that tree there. It does cause a little bit of problems when I am scrolling in and out. Oh, apparently okay. It does cause a little bit of problems when I scroll in and out to view, but it's fine. This is where I'm starting to decorate the interior, and I did try to use as close as possible the colors that we actually have in our home. We do have a very bright living room. It's not actually red, it's actually a very raspberry color, but that was the closest I could get for the living room. And the bedrooms and the bathroom are similar colorways, and the kitchen is a neutral. This here, where I'm moving the walls around for this one bedroom, there's actually a little kind of hallway, which I do end up figuring out, but I had to change the shape of the room in order to make it work the way I wanted it to, which is really no big deal, but I wish I could have had it be more accurate. But when you're limited to one full square, then you have limited choices. I hope that, they have those 4 quadrants in those squares, and I hope that they eventually allow us the option to do a half a wall in those squares. That would make things so much easier to build actual to scale kind of thing. Not that you really have to build to scale. But anyway, this room here, this purple room, is actually our computer room. In real life, I made it into the bedroom, into the spare bedroom, because the other room, that's the green room right next to it, is our spare room. But because I wanted it as a walkthrough to the sunroom, I made this one the bedroom instead, because that is my plan. If we ever do add on a sunroom, that will be like a walkthrough room to the sunroom, which will be like a little study. And so I do a little bit of decorating. I know that this is a base game and then you have very limited items, but I can't wait until some expansion packs and stuff packs come out, because I will be the first on the bandwagon to buy more stuff. In Sims 3, I have almost all of the stuff packs. I have all the expansion packs, almost all the stuff packs, and a lot of store content. So I really like a lot of stuff. Not really in real life. I don't like a lot of clutter and whatnot, but in my Sims, I like to have a lot of different things so that I can really decorate. Now, most of these things I'm trying to decorate the house similarly to how we have it decorated. Obviously, not all the items in that are available in Sims 4 is what we have in real life, but I did the best that I could with what I had to work with. And I do put two computers in this room because we do have two desks and two computers in our little computer room that we have in our house. In this little sunroom, because we don't have basements in Sims 4, I did kind of set it up. And I'm putting in the hardwood floors, which we have throughout our first floor. Um, I did, since we don't have basements in Sims 4, I did go ahead and put in the sunroom and I decorated it like our basement, whereas where I have all of my knitting clubs and whatnot. That first couch I could not find a color that I liked, so I switched it out for this one, and then I put in a couple of chairs. And I loved having the IKEA stuff in Sims 3, and I certainly hope that we have that again in Sims 4. IKEA, I love having IKEA chairs and whatnot in my game. And I just kind of put a few tables, make it a nice little living space. And I add a rug here in a few moments. There's not there's a lot of stuff for clutter, but there's not a lot of different things to add. And so when you're doing your different rooms, you kind of are using the same similar things. What I do like is that you can change the frames on different pictures, and everything has different colors. But I'm hoping that they will expand those things in the future. Now I did have to do a little bit of reorganizing in my bathroom here, and I think I don't put a floor down, so I will have to do that before I upload this house. But yeah, I did have to do a little bit of rearranging because I couldn't get the bathroom to work just right there. Because in our actual true home, the toilet is across from the sink, but I didn't want it that close to the door, and the way that the tub was set up, it was too difficult to try and make it work. Now we move into the living room, where I will be adjusting some rooms again because it just wasn't quite right. So I did a little bit more adjusting here, in hopes that I could get it a little bit more correct. Having to repaint the walls again, put in a little console table there. Again, the items that we have available in Sims 4 are not exactly the style that I have in real life. Yeah, that TV, I did scale that up because we do have a huge TV in our living room. But I did the best that I could, and I think I got a pretty close rendition of what we have in real life. We have lights like that in our living room, but I couldn't get them to work the way I wanted them to because there's no move objects. And so I just decided to put some lights on the wall instead. It made it a little bit easier. Curtains, again, there's not a whole lot of different types of curtains and window dressings that I liked or that fit the size windows that I had. So again, had to work with what we had, which was fine. We mostly have blinds on our windows. We don't really have curtains. But that front window, we do have a curtain. I didn't want to put in a fireplace because I really wish I had a fireplace in real life, but it just didn't work right in that spot, so I decided not to do that. And again, that little chest of drawers, we have something similar to that in our front room. It's not that style, but it was the only one that would fit in that spot. So that's the one I chose. I'm just adding a little bit of decoration to the room, a mirror, which we also have in our front room, and also a clock. We have kind of like a pendulum clock in our front room there, but that wasn't available. Now we're moving into the kitchen. We have a very basic kind of kitchen. We're hoping again to one day remodel the kitchen, but we have to live with what we have for right now. So I just try to recreate the kitchen the way it is. Our stove and our refrigerator are on that wall there with a trash can next to it. Again, if I had my wish, my kitchen would be totally different, but we do have a tall shelf or a shelf there that we store a lot of like our appliances that we don't use, like the bread maker and crock pot and stuff like that, because we don't use those that often. We do have a little kind of microwave stand that we have over there in the corner. That's why I was putting a little hutch there. I couldn't decide which one I liked best, and I think in the end this is the one I decided to choose and leave in that spot. And then I put in a dining room table. We do have a small dining room table, and I wasn't able to place the chairs exactly where I wanted them, but I did get 4 chairs in there in the end because the door is right there, and I wanted to keep the door there. I thought about placing a little condiment thing on the table, but decided against that. Because we can't put the microwave in that other stand, I put the microwave over here, which is kind of where we have our toaster. So I just put that there, and I just did a tiny little bit of decorating in the kitchen, not too much at all. Where are we moving to next? Oh, I'm still putting a little bit of touches on the kitchen, and then I'm going to place this wall. We do have a wood paneled wall going up into the second floor, and it is a loft type area. There's no bedroom on that second floor, so I did not want to put a door or anything here. I do a little bit of changing with the walls because I wanted to put a fence here, but for some reason the fence wasn't going up, so I ended up having to put a wall up and then change it to a fence, which was fine. I didn't know that I had to do that, but you learn something when you're playing. And this is the new color of our bedroom. We just painted our bedroom recently, and we put in new hardwood floors upstairs that are this dark wood tone. And so I try to, again, color it the way that we have our true house. And here are just a couple of dressers. We're going to be getting new dressers for our bedroom, but this is what we currently have, or what we have, something similar. And I have a little chair up there because I like to read before I go to bed, and I prefer to sit in a chair rather than on the bed. It's a little bit more comfortable. Put a few things on the dressers, few decorations. This one painting that I put in here in just a moment, I think I do the bathroom first, but maybe not. That I put over the bed. I really like. This is the first time I've used it in Sims 4. I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of building, so I guess it could be the first time I'm using it. I tried to put in a spa tub there, but it wasn't really going to work. And again, I do change this a little bit before I upload because I forgot that I moved in that wall on the lower level, forgot to move in the wall on the upper level, but I do fix that before I upload this house to the gallery. And again, in the gallery, I am Miss Aerobics, which is MSAROBIX. And now we're continuing with the decorations. And again, I do move this stuff around a little bit once I realized that I forgot to move that wall in on the second story. Here's, I think, where I put that picture in. Yeah, that's the picture I really like. And I just do some final tweaking here and just checking things out to make sure that everything looks good. Let's see. Oh, and then I add some things to the deck. You know, you have to have a grill on the deck and a nice table and chairs. And I put a bench, and I think I put a couple hedges or something just to make the decoration on the deck a little bit nicer. I'm sure that as I play this house, I will make some additional changes. And now we're coming up on the screenshots. This is the front of the house. They kind of speak for themselves. And the back side. Oh, I did put a bird bath there in the kitchen. The living room. And here's the first angle of the kitchen, and I think I have one more angle of the kitchen. Yep, from the other angle, looking from the living room. This is the spare bedroom, which again, I probably will rearrange and stuff when I'm actually playing it because I'll probably need a kid's room. This is the first floor bathroom, the computer room that looks out onto the sun porch, and the other angle. And then we move out into the sun porch. And I think I have one more shot here, yep, of the master bedroom. And that's it.